everybody, what's up? We're back. I hope these videos are helping you the way they've helped me. Let's get this mic in a better position. Um, so we've been talking about reaching our goals. How do we do that? We're diving into the book from Dr. Heidi Grant, a social psychologist. I think in past episodes I've said, hey, she's a social scientist, but I think the correct term is a social psychologist. So, very interesting what we've learned. If you've been following along, keeping up, watching the videos, uh, how do we set our goals, the triggers that we have, our goals written down. We've went over several things. Um, and today, I really want to dive into the third chapter of the book, which is what keeps us going towards our goals. What is the linchpin that helps us decide whether we persist through difficulty or if we say, this is too hard, I need to go ahead and give up as I'm not going to make it. So that's the thing I want to talk about today. And the way she terms this in the book is people typically fall into two categories. Either they want to be good at what they're doing, or they want to get better. And for the people that want to be good, they have a very different set of criteria on evaluating uh, their capability and whether they should keep moving forward than the people that want to get better. And the key thing that I want you to remember in this short talk is that folks that want to be good uh, seek to prove themselves, and folks that want to get better seek to improve themselves. So it's the difference between proving yourself and improving yourself. And it really ties into what we talked about last week around whether or not we believe our abilities are fixed or we believe that they can grow. Uh, it's really important because the fact that you want to prove yourself with folks, you tend to want to already show up in your goals and your situations and your responsibilities and perform at high levels. And if you don't perform at high levels, you react a lot differently than folks whose goal is to get better at the things they're pursuing. So let's dive into some of the topics. So uh, when a person is really seeking to be good, uh, it ties back into that self validation, the need to be validated by their abilities in order to say, all right, I need to keep going towards this. Is if I don't get the immediate validation that I'm already good, then it's unlikely that I'll persist through the difficult times. For instance, if you have a business and you're trying to sell things, if you don't sell things right away, and if you are end up talking to a friend or a family member and they ask you how the business is going, when you seek to be good, your temptation is to uh, put on that things are fine, uh, that you are um, because your validation is tied to that, you you seek to say that, hey, I'm good, everything is good. You don't really want to ask for help. You're more so trying to prove yourself to say, yeah, I got this. Or let's say a couple months later, you're talking to friends and family and you don't even want to talk about it anymore. Oh, I'm done with that. Oh, I've moved on to something else, because you've now decided I can't do that. I wasn't good enough. The time I spent doing that business, I wasn't validated that I knew what I was doing, and so I stopped doing it. And so this be good sort of, I have to prove myself. in my goals. My goals have to validate my value and my worth. Uh, that tends to put you in a space where uh, what you pursue becomes doesn't really get your best self, because your best self uh, grows. Your best self gets better over time, but the self you prefer to be or you wish to be in your mind already wants to have it figured out, already wants to be great, already wants to show or prove that I've got this. And so, and it works sometimes for folks to be good. Let me show everybody what I can do. But when that's the root of your motivation, if for whatever reason, for the way you were brought up, your family, your friends, your schooling, um, it could push you to where you feel like you've always had to show that you know, or that you've got the answer, or that uh, you don't need help. If you've been in that scenario most of your life, or if that's the way you've grown up, then uh, it's less likely that you'll push through when things get super difficult. And some of your biggest goals and things you want to achieve are difficult, and they require an approach to difficulty that says, I'm going to pursue through this. That I know it's going to be difficult, but I'm going to pursue through it because I know I can get better. I know I can ask for help. I know that, you know, if there's nothing ventured, there's nothing gained, so to speak. There's a sort of a risky bias, as she puts it, whereas the be gooder has a conservative bias. They're so quickly, um, they're so conservative in their approach that they would rather not fail and rather not show anyone that they failed than to pursue a tough goal. And so some of it's good, right? Because sometimes you don't need to pursue things, and your mind can keep you away from pursuing the wrong things. But if you're too conservative, then you become so afraid of what it would look like if you were to fail that you don't pursue at all, or you don't push yourself at all, you don't stretch yourself at all. Uh, there is a need to be validated in what you're doing. Hey, I know what I'm doing. Hey, I've got this. Because for some reason in your past, in your upbringing, you've been challenged in that way. You haven't been allowed to ask questions. You haven't been allowed to be vulnerable. You haven't uh, had the time or the chance to improve yourself. You've always had to be ready, have the answer. If not, you would be disciplined or punished. Or so, uh, who we are is a result of what we've been around, how we've been brought up, but who we want to be going forward uh, is based on if we continue in that vein, if we continue with that view or lens of the world. And when you have a be good lens of the world, when you have a prove yourself lens of the world, you approach life in a way that says, I've got to prove myself. And so I don't ask for help. I don't seek out good counsel. I'm afraid of failing. I don't want anybody to tell me that I failed, because I think failure points to me as a person and devalues me. I'm not worth as much as I would have been worth if I would have succeeded. And so when you have this view of I've got to be good, I've got to prove myself, it does two things. One, it stops you from pursuing goals that you would have pursued, or you start to pursue a goal and you give up too soon. Because let's say you want to be a cook. So you start cooking, but your first few meals, you get some rough criticism, and they say, "This sucks. This food is terrible." You then conclude, if you have this view of the world, again, we fall into two buckets. I either have to be good or get better. We haven't talked about get better yet. We're still on be good. And if I'm on that be good view of the world, you cook enough meals, let's say 3, 4, whatever your limit is, and they're all terrible, you then conclude, I can't cook. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm no good at this. I'm a terrible person. I don't have as much value as the person that can cook. You, it's a validation thing, and it's the it's difficult on you as a person and difficult on your potential, because you cap your potential when you tell yourself, I'm not good at that. I can't do that. That's not for me. Um, and there's truly some things that aren't for us, right? But there's a thin line between viewing the world as I have to already be good, I have to prove myself, versus viewing the world as I can improve myself. Slight difference, but it makes all the difference in how you approach your goals, how you continue the pursuit of goals, and how likely you are to achieve them. Second worldview, the one I would suggest you embrace if you want to uh, have a higher likelihood of reaching your goals, it's a view of improving yourself. It's a view of I can get better. I can improve. I can get better. I can improve. I can get better. I can improve. I can get better. When you have that view of the world, a very difficult goal is okay for you. Stretching yourself, doing things that seemingly have you've never seen done before, you don't have a good model for, you don't get as complacent in life when you have this worldview, because you will push yourself to go beyond uh, your current limits and to expand yourself. Uh, when you have this worldview, you think of the world a little bit differently. You enjoy the journey as much as the destination, because you don't see the failed test, you don't see the failed cooking as a indictment on who you are as a person. Rather, you see it as a key lesson and a key learning as to what not to do. Oh, so I can't do that and still do well. For instance, you're taking a test and your get better view. You fail the first test. You have a higher tendency to say, okay, what did I do prior to this test? Because there are some things that I did there that I don't want to repeat in order to do better next time. You're always looking at, how can I do better? How can I improve? How can I sharpen the saw, so to speak? And instead of taking that failed test and saying, oh, I can't do this work, I'm no good at it, I should give up, I should drop the class. Instead, you say, all right, let me see what I can learn from this. Let me see if I can ask for help. Let me see how I can improve, because this is just failure is, I like this, failure is feedback. Failure isn't an indictment. Failure, you have to rethink failure. Failure is feedback. Oh, I failed the test. Let me get the feedback on why I failed. Because if I get feedback, if I get direction, if I get some guardrails, if I get some teaching and learnings from this, then I can adjust, make improvements. I'm not seeking to prove myself. I'm seeking to improve myself. Uh, that is the get better mindset. And so when you have that get better mindset, you rarely make the mistake of giving up too soon. You more often than not may pursue things longer than they should be pursued. Um, and so this is where you've got to be careful with get better people about positive thinking, because positive thinking is good, but you can't deceive yourself into thinking that, oh, this is going to be easy, and just pursue forever, and never take the failure feedback and say, all right, I should change directions. um, but the good thing about that is that as they grow, as they improve, eventually they will learn what they need to focus on and what they need to give the most energy to. And they rarely give up too soon, because, again, it's not a journey about proving that I'm already good. It's a journey about improving and getting better. Uh, and so when you think about that conservative bias, the get better person has the risky bias. Uh, they're not afraid of the devil they don't know. You know, the do good person is like, well, the devil I know is better than the one I don't. The get better person is not afraid to move and make changes um, because of that. So you learn things when you attack life from these different lenses. If you have that be good lens, you cut off that learning a lot sooner. If you have the get better lens, you're open to the learning a lot longer. Uh, and that results in a lot more self growth. And it actually plays also into um, depression, because both groups get depressed. Both the be good person gets depressed, and the do better person gets depressed. Depression is a real thing. And the difference is that they each react differently to depression. The person that believes that failure determines their worth, the I have to already be good person, depression has a way of making them feel stuck, incapable of moving or making changes. The do better person, depression for them, they take it and they actually are pushed or motivated to do more, motivated to push through, motivated to get up. The worse they feel, the more moved to action they are. And so they have a higher likelihood of of doing more, engaging in more productive, activating activities that will take them out of depression a lot sooner than those who have the be good mentality. And it's all a mentality, right? Because if you are thinking that, all right, I do X, I do this, I do that, I do school, I do athletics, I do business, my finances. If I do these things and I don't perform well right away, or I don't feel that good, if I have that mentality and I sink into failure, I I cut off my potential. I cap my potential. So even successful people can be a be good mindset. They can have potential that's capped off, right? Because every NBA player is successful. They are the best NBA players in the world. But there's a difference between those who say, okay, I'm going to get better, I'm going to commit to getting better, and those who say, I'm never going to be as good as that guy. And the achievements, the way they approach the work, what they do, how they reach their goals are much different, because one decides that I'm not going to be capped. I'm not, this is not about proving myself, proving that I'm already good. This is about improving myself. And with the greatest athletes, you see this. They are always talking about improving themselves. And so, you have to maybe question, what's healthy and what's not healthy when it comes to pursuit of goals. But if we can agree that we admire those achievers because they've reached the pinnacle of success, the pinnacle of their goals, we have to look at their behavior and assume that it speaks to their mindset, that they are constantly improving themselves, constantly improving themselves, constantly improving themselves. And because of that, they reach higher heights and they don't give up too soon. So it comes back to mindset. If you want to reach your goals, you have to decide if you're going to live a life where you're seeking to prove yourself, be good already, or if you're seeking to improve yourself, get better. If you're willing to become a success, or if you're focused on already showing everyone you already are a success. It's a mindset shift. And much of our goals that we set and the achievement of those goals starts right here in our minds. And that's the lesson for today. Check your mind. Are you willing to have a serious conversation with yourself and say, hey, am I looking at life and trying to show that I'm already good? Or am I looking at life and saying, I can improve and I'm willing to improve and I want to become good. I want to be better. I want to get better. And that's a never ending journey, because people who have that lens have a higher likelihood of reaching their goals. They, they are motivated when times get tough. They are motivated to action when things get difficult. When they fail at the test, it's not a failure to give up. It's a failure to keep going. And so that's what I want to leave with you. Don't seek to prove yourself. Seek to improve yourself. And you will have a higher chance, a higher likelihood of achieving your goals. All right. Until next time, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. Big ups to you for joining. Big ups to you for taking some time to get some new information to help frame your mind. Good luck reaching your goals. Until next time, peace.